Hey, I'm Noelle.
And I'm Marissa, but Noelle calls me Pete.
True. And welcome back to
Take It Home.
Woo!
Yes.
All right. What are we drinking today? What's the sip of the week?
I'm very excited about this one. We're filming during the day again, so we are drinking an iced strawberry matcha latte.
Homemade by Pete.
Yes. I got really good matcha powder yesterday. The brand is called Homecoming Matcha. She did a little pop-up where I work, and it's the best matcha, so I had to buy a tin of it. And I've been waiting because, matcha can either be really good or really bad. It's all dependent on the quality of the powder. So I've just been waiting to invest a little bit. And I made homemade strawberry syrup for it. Mm-hmm. From fresh strawberries. And
I slept on the couch while she did it all.
Yes, but that's okay because you made the last two.
Trap.
Okay.
Cheers. Eye contact. Yeah, damn.
It's so good. I'm proud.
It's so good.
I feel like matcha is an art, and I still have a lot of learning to do, but
it's like smooth. Mm-hmm. Like it tastes smooth. AF.
It's creamy.
Creamy matcha.
And just the right amount of sweetness.
Yeah.
From the straws.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Good job.
Thanks.
Okay.
Our topic today, we're keeping it a little fun and light, hoping to laugh a bit today. Survival jobs.
Survival jobs.
Being an artist, it's just something that comes with it. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. All of the weird or random or weird and random jobs we've had since moving to the city, since being in the real world, pursuing acting and music and all the things, and all of the little funny stories that has entailed.
Essentially jobs that we're not necessarily passionate about. I mean, we are passionate about our current jobs, but jobs that are not career related. They are not the reason why we moved to New York City. They're solely just to pay our bills. And sometimes you got to do random things to pay the bills before your artist career takes off.
Smile of the week.
Smile of the week. Smile for the week.
Smile for the week. I don't know.
Okay.
By the way, we're both kind of dead today.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think I don't know. My social battery's out.
Oh my God.
I've been anxious the past few days, and anytime I have anxiety flare-ups, I'm just like a dead person after, because that
takes a lot out of you.
It does. It's like the past 2 days I've just been like really anxious, and now I'm like, today I feel like hungover.
I've just been I actually am hungover, so that's part of it.
Unfortunately.
It's not like I partied last night, but I got drinks with a friend, made us a little drinky here, and then we went out and had 2 more drinks, and
I stayed in
today.
I stayed in and ate mac and cheese and watched TV.
For some reason. Yeah, but I feel like I still would have been feeling this way because I've just been working so much too. I've been doing a lot of social things, a lot of personal work, and I'm fucking tired. But
tired
it's all
too.
good things, It's just like, whoa, I think I need a day to just sleep, but I don't have one.
Well, if you don't take care of yourself, you'll be forced to eventually.
I know. The good thing is I have today off and tomorrow off before, things get a little crazy again. So I'm just trying to rest as much as possible. I don't know.
Anyways,
Smile of the week?
After all of this negativity, let's talk about things that are making us smile.
The good things.
The good things. I will go first. I volunteer.
All right.
My thing that made me smile was this past weekend. It was one of my best friends, Sarah's birthdays. We take birthdays very, very seriously between my friends and I. And Sarah wanted to have a slumber party for part of her birthday weekend. So literally we had a sleepover at me and Pete's apartment. It was just me, Pete, and our friends Claire and Sarah. And we blew up an air mattress and put it in the living room. And we were just like, literally, we went out before and had dinner and then one drink after dinner and then went home on a Friday night to lay around and laugh and eat snacks.
Yeah. We also went to the park and ate a homemade cake that Sarah made too, which was so
good.
Cute. And the background was like the New York City skyline, and it was beautiful, brisk, early fall weather, and it was dark out, and we were just sitting eating cake. It was very cute.
It was
very
just,
cute night.
It was nice and wholesome, and having a sleepover after, like, we were all just giggling, talking on the air mattress. It felt like I was in middle school again, just literally having a slumber party, laughing, giggling, not going out to the club on a Friday night. It was really cute, and I'm glad we did that. So that was something that made me smile. What about you?
So mine, I feel like I made my first like big girl purchase in my life.
Oh my gosh,
recently.
Yes, she did.
And I'm excited about it. I bought a MacBook Pro mainly just because, like, honestly, mainly for this podcast, because I am doing the editing and stuff. And I have a laptop, but it's a bit big and clunky. So it just never felt super portable. And long story short, I've just been wanting one for a long time, but it's such an investment. And I just kind of ripped the Band-Aid and I did it in a way that felt responsible. And it's been bringing me so much joy. I don't know. That's my smile.
That is a big girl purchase.
I literally...
A laptop? Wow.
Yeah. I've been like thinking about it for weeks, maybe even months. And then I was like, yeah, I have, right?
Yes.
I was like, I think I'm finally going to do it. And I was just sitting at work one day. I went on the Apple website and I just bought it and I chose the pickup option. And that night on my way home from work, I stopped at the store and picked it up. And
now you have a laptop.
Brought it home. And now I have it. Yeah.
A MacBook.
So I'm very happy. It like makes my life easier, I feel. And so it felt like an investment to my future self and my well-being and just like making things more convenient and life
it came
easier.
with a free pair of AirPods.
That is true. Well, I did use the student discount, even though I'm not a student. But okay, life hack, you guys. They don't ask you for any like email ID, nothing. So I was like, yeah, I'm a student. So I got $100 off.
And
I'm a student of life.
You are. You know what? We're all students, actually.
Yeah. And then you get a free item. So I chose AirPods.
I mean, honestly, if I worked for Apple or really any company, I don't really need to question. I don't care.
Yeah. I'm sure they don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, Apple doesn't have to worry. Okay.
Y'all have money. Y'all have money.
Let me get my
AirPods.
Free AirPods.
Come on. And they did, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh my God, thank you.
I'm sure everyone does that. Why wouldn't everyone do that?
I don't know.
Anyway.
I should do that. Except I don't need a new laptop, so I'm not going to. Any whomst.
Anyway,
let's get into our topic.
I'm excited for this. We're going to giggle today.
Survival job.
I was just going to say I need to giggle today because
me too.
I am not alive.
I'm alive. I am so alive. I'm alive. So alive. I'm alive.
We should do a cover one day on our podcast.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Survival jobs, aka jobs that most of us artists have to have before our artistic career takes off. So we've both had a bunch. Some of them have been like great, awesome, good experiences. We both are enjoying our current situations, which is awesome. But it took a while to figure out what a perfect survival job situation entails.
It sure did. So I always say that, well, I don't always say this. I actually came up with this morning.
Yeah, what? You came up with it today.
I always say, no, but I think this in my head, but I guess I like.
You've never said it out loud until today.
Put it into words. Like survival jobs need to include these three things, at least for me. But like, I think for most artists, this is one, you need to be able to pay your bills. So part-time, even if you know, to have 2 part-time jobs, regardless how many jobs it is, you need to be able to be paying your bills, obviously. 2,
it needs to be flexible.
yes.
And that's especially for performers. That's because we have a lot of auditions that we have to go to. And auditions normally happen during the 9 to 5 Monday through Friday work week.
Yes.
So that's why a lot of artists don't have corporate jobs. Some do and somehow make it work and are able to audition while they're working. I know, what's her name? Jessica Vosk? She was like one of the Elphabas in Wicked on Broadway and is famous. She worked in finance for a long time or something.
That's definitely possible.
It's
just whatever that flexibility means for you. If you're able to show up for your art and not put it on the back burner because your survival job turned into your life job, like your real main job, as long as that doesn't happen, like whatever that means for you. Yeah.
I remember our senior year of college talking about survival jobs and like literally that's something that we had to talk about in our program because most people are not going to book Broadway immediately. I remember the casting directors giving us some advice and saying the main thing is when you move to New York City, don't get so obsessed with your survival job that you forget the reason why you came in the first place. Unless your survival job, you end up loving it and want to do that instead. But if you still genuinely want to pursue your art, like we're still pursuing theater, music, acting, blah, 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 you have to continue to make that a priority, which is why it's important to have a flexible job. So I don't have to say, oh, I can't go to this audition for this show that I really want to be in because I have to work.
Right.
Instead, you can schedule your job hopefully around it. So yeah. And number 3.
Number 3 is it needs to not make you miserable and you can't dread it every single day.
And we have both been in situations definitely where I think we've dreaded going to work. Not right now. I think we finally figured it out, but we have both been miserable. It's hard when you're working a job literally just for the money and the flexibility. It's hard to find something you also enjoy going to.
Yeah. And I think like it's important. A survival job, yes, it is just to make you money, but like it's really important to still enjoy it to some extent. Like
you're going all the time. It's part of your life.
And that's why I think like as an artist, having passions that aren't just your art, like having a well-rounded like hobbies, interests, things that bring you fulfillment and joy or just like interest outside of whatever thing you're like mainly trying to pursue, like try to find jobs in those areas. Or, you know, even if it's just something that maybe you're not passionate about it, but like you don't hate it, you know, you don't wake up every day dreading it or it doesn't drain the energy out of you, because then you're just gonna be, like I said, energetically drained and you're never going to have anything left to pour into your art.
Yeah.
And that's hard because I've been there, and like I've been there so much that it feels like such a blessing right now to be in a situation where I like my jobs and I don't dread it every day.
I'm kind of in a transition period, which I'll talk about later on the episode with my job. So I feel like I had the perfect situation, like all of this past year so far until a couple months ago. And now I might need to rethink things a little more because I'm not making as much money as I would like, or not even as much as I would like, but as I need to be making. So I have to reevaluate my situation. However, the 2 jobs that I currently have, I enjoy. I just might need to add a 3rd job. But yeah, we have both lived and learned, worked a lot of jobs that we did not enjoy. And with that comes a lot of hilarious stories. I feel like everybody knows working random jobs, you have weird coworkers, you have weird little tasks you have to do. Like there's always just characters. And even if you're hating your life in the moment, sometimes it's funny when you go home and complain. Like we've all had that shitty boss that's just awful, but makes for good stories later. So today we're going to be sharing a lot of our survival job funny stories back when we were miserable in other jobs. Not miserable for all of them, but we did have some miserable times and also some silly times. And so we'll be sharing those stories and then talk about our current situations.
Yeah.
So how do we even begin?
I guess we can start by talking about the first jobs we had when we moved here.
Okay. Well, the first job I had when I first moved to the city was I worked at Lululemon. So I worked at Lululemon in Greensboro, North Carolina for a year during COVID and then transferred to one in New York City. And it was a good job for a while. I'm honestly not going to complain much about Lululemon. It was a good job. Didn't pay enough, honestly, but do they ever? I was pretty much getting minimum wage, maybe like a little bit more. And I didn't have enough hours either. That's the other thing was it was part-time, but sometimes they would only give me like 10 to 15 hours a week. And when you're making minimum wage and working with that is not enough to pay the bills. Luckily, I had a savings when I first moved up here. So for moving, I was planning to use the savings to help me. So I was working and also using my savings for a few months too. I worked at Lulu for like a year in the city and I quit so impulsively. It was so random. I just came home one day after work and was like, well, I quit my job today.
Yeah, that was, and you didn't wake up thinking that was going to happen.
No, it was just, I think with me, it just got very repetitive. I loved a lot of the perks. I got free workout classes for 2 years, which I miss. I really do miss that part. And I made so many wonderful friends at work. I also met some assholes. Sorry, that was really aggressive. But I made some friends at work. Overall, it was a pretty good experience. I think it just got very monotonous. I felt very stifled and bored. I feel like I was just doing the same things over. Like, okay, I go and fold pants for hours. And I worked at the location in Soho. And sometimes there were just crazy customers. And with not being paid enough and dealing with all of that and feeling bored, or when you're not bored, dealing with annoying people. One day I was like, I quit. Bye. And
was there something that happened that was like a final straw when you were there? Like what was happening when you were there?
I was so bored.
You were just so bored?
Well, actually, looking back, I was having terrible anxiety when I first moved to the city, which I've mentioned in past episodes. And I would feel very anxious at Lululemon a lot. And I think that once my anxiety started getting better, another part of it was I was just like, I need to get out of here. I think I just had bad feelings associated with literally the building because every time I went in for months, I just felt so anxious. And it wasn't even Lululemon's fault. It was just like my own life. But I just feel like it was a lot of things, but there was one day I just felt like I was like, I don't know. It was just this gut feeling.
Like literally outgrew it.
Yeah. I was like, I'm done. Bye. And I put in my 2 weeks. I didn't quit. I wasn't like, bye, I'm never coming back. I went and talked to my boss and said, I'm putting in my 2 weeks. Time for me to move on to something else. So I moved on to nannying. Okay, so what was your first job, Marissa?
My first job was actually really cool. It wasn't miserable at all. I just ended up not being able to like make it work with my schedule. I think the box it did not check was flexibility.
No. You were like non-existent during that time.
Yeah, so I was working a lot, but it was really cool. So I worked on a show for Food Network called Chopped. You may or may not know it. So I was a culinary PA, production assistant for the show Chopped. When I first moved here, it was very cool. How I got that job, because I didn't have any, like, I'm a foodie and I have a passion for food. You know, that's kind of one of my side passions, one of my hobbies. But I don't have like any culinary, like real culinary experience, or I didn't have any PAing experience at the time. So it was very random. But I have a cousin who is the culinary producer for the show, and she has been for years. She actually picks all of the foods that go into the baskets for the contestants on the show.
So cool.
It's really awesome. It just so happened that like they started filming in September and I was moving in August, and my cousin was like, would you want to come work on the show and like be a culinary on my team, on the culinary team? And I was like, yeah, because at this point I had no idea what I was going to do work wise. So it was just like timing was divine and it all worked out. If you know a PA, if you've ever been a PA, it's long hours. So I think we started filming at 7 a.m. Or no, we didn't start filming then, but like that was our call time. And it was all the way in East Harlem and I lived in Brooklyn. So it was about an hour commute. I was waking up at 5 a.m. every day. And then some days it would just depend on how long it took. So basically every day we would film one episode. Depending on how long that took is when we got to go home. Some days that was at like 3 p.m., but like most days it was at 5 or 6 or whatever. But it was really cool. So my tasks on the culinary team were to restock and just kind of keep the pantry that was on set up to par, make sure all the food was fresh, replacing things every morning, going and cleaning up whatever they used during that round. If you don't know the show Chopped, which I'm sure people are familiar with it, but basically they have like 3 chefs who are competing. I think it's 3 or 4. I don't remember, but they get a mystery basket of ingredients that are usually like not typically paired together, and they have to make a dish out of it. So of course there's this pantry on set where they can go and pull all of these things to like add to their dish. So that's what I was in charge of, keeping that clean, keeping it restocked after every round.
I miss it because we got a lot of free fruit.
Yeah, I mean, we had
stuff.
Tons of produce and stuff that we got to take home at the end of the week, which was really cool because so it didn't go to waste, because there would always be stuff left over and I would get like free groceries basically. It was really awesome. But my other task was I was the knife washer. So after every round, I would go to the chef's stations. I would have to find all of their knives wherever they left them in the chaos of the round. They each had like 5 knives or something. And then I had to go and wash them all on the set sink. And there was this one time when they were always telling me, like, be careful. People always cut themselves when they're doing this. Like, be careful, because it's a very quick thing. Like, oh, round's over. Okay, everyone has their task. Everyone's cleaning. Everyone's, doing everything. You're on a time crunch, kind of. It's hard not to like rush and like just want to scrub the knives really quickly. And I was always pretty safe about it. But there was this one time when I cut the shit out of my hand. It was bleeding everywhere on a big serrated knife. So that was a funny story. But yeah, PAing was really, really cool. And it would be like an awesome thing to continue doing if it was like what I wanted to do. It'd like be in like TV production stuff. But it just did not leave me a lot of time and energy to focus on acting and everything. So that's why
anything.
Yeah.
You were having trouble being social during that time too, like hanging out with friends.
Yeah, because I just was getting up so early every day and then like working long hours. So then during the weekends I didn't really want to do anything because I was so tired, But I really did enjoy it. It was really cool. I grew up such a huge Food Network fan. Huge. Like I would watch it every day coming home from school and like at night and stuff. So it was just awesome. And I got to be on set during the rounds too. We had our little headsets and I had to watch what the chefs were doing and kind of tell the people who sat with the producers what was happening so they can like, I don't know, edit accordingly, or they just know what's going on. And that was awesome. And it's all real, you guys. It happens and they have like a timer and
Chopped is real.
Chopped is real.
They're not lying to you.
Yes. It was really fun. So Chopped was like a few months long. And then I did another show that was a week or maybe even shorter. And then I did one that was 2 weeks. But yeah, it was really cool. And I will always be grateful for that experience because it was really great having steady job or just like knowing what I was doing when I moved here. Like it was a great first experience. That was my first job.
Yay. Wow. Chopped was a time.
Chopped was a time. It was an era.
It wasn't the Chopped
Feels
era.
so long ago now. I guess it was.
And anytime you tell people you worked at Chopped, a lot of them would think that you meant the salad place.
Yeah.
Like you're behind this counter making salads.
Yeah. And it's a really cool fact to tell people that I worked on the show for Food Network. All right. And okay. So why don't you move on, Noelle? After you quit Lululemon.
After I quit Lululemon, I started working for this family as a nanny. Actually, I was kind of doing that for a little bit part-time with Lululemon. So me and Pete are both members of this company, the babysitting agency, I guess. That's how I've gotten pretty much all of my babysitting and nannying jobs. So I started doing Lululemon and this one job. And I was only doing it Mondays and Thursdays for a few hours for this family. The kids were 2 of my little besties. I love them so much. The parents were not my besties, unfortunately. So I worked part-time for them for a while during Lululemon. Then I quit Lulu and I started going more full-time for them. And I knew that the mom, aka my boss, was a little crazy. Oh, I was working as a nanny, by the way. I just said I was working for them, their family, but it did kind of turn into a personal assistant job for them. But I knew she was a little cuckoo. I hadn't spent that much time with her yet, so I was like, it's fine. I can just go full time. She was very micromanaging. She would text me long texts every single day. Also, I wouldn't know what time she needed me to start working until day of.
That is so not okay.
And one time I asked her, I was like, hey, can you please just let me know at the beginning of the week the times that you'll need me? And she would freak out and be like, no, I can't tell you that. I'm sorry, but I just don't know my schedule.
And you weren't being paid for that. So it'd be different if you were like on call and you're like, okay, every single day I have the hours of 2 to 8, just for example, blocked off for you. So if you need me at that time, then I'll come in. But like if you need me at 4, but you're not going to let me know till the beginning or till the day of, then you still need to be paying me for 2. So I know not to make plans because, yeah, it just
and I asked
so
her,
messed up.
So this was like months later. So oh my God, I just kind of let them treat me poorly for a long time. And then eventually I was like, it just got very old because I wanted to know like when I could go to auditions. And like, if someone asked me to get lunch, I'd be like, I don't know. I may or may not be working for this family at this time. Sometimes she would text me at like 11 p.m. the night before and would be like, can you come in early tomorrow at 1? And I'd just be like, yeah. Like, what? And then eventually when I was like, hey, if you want to have me on call, you have to pay me for the hours. And she was like, no, I will not be doing that.
Oh my God, this is making me so mad.
Y'all, oh my God.
They did not respect the fact that you were a human being with your own life.
No.
You were just there to be their little helper.
I was. So then once I transitioned from like part-time nanny to more full-time, they asked me, they were like, if we're going to be paying you more, so can you also like help around the house and like, you know, do more than just like watch over the kids, but help us out? And I was like, yeah, of course. You know, to me that I thought that meant like maybe run errands for them sometimes, put the dishes away, like, you know, pick up here and there. Bro, I was doing everything for that family, things that were not my job. I will tell the craziest story. One time she told me that she wanted to get her money's worth from me. Yeah, her and her husband would say that. They were very old school, older parents. They wanted their money's worth. They also
both didn't work. They were retired, right?
No, he wasn't retired, but mom
they were
was.
Home all day.
Oh yeah, she was a stay-at-home mom.
Which is fine, but like,
which is fine.
Why aren't they doing anything? Why were you doing everything for
I was
them?
doing everything.
It's crazy.
For them. And I signed on to be a nanny, but then half of the time she would be like, I want to spend time with my kids. And then she'd have me do random shit. And I'd be like, okay. I remember this one day specifically, I have so many insane stories, but they, you know, were always telling me they wanted their money's worth. Okay, whatever that means. So there's one day she was hanging out with the kids and she had me upstairs cleaning the kitchen. So they also had 3 dishwashers in New York City, which is insane. So I was upstairs cleaning the kitchen, doing the dishes for like literally 3 hours. I was upstairs cleaning. I did not sit down once during that time. I hadn't had a break. And then she's finally like, okay, Noelle, like now can you take the girls to ballet class? And I was like, yeah. And so I leave the kitchen, I go downstairs. The girls are literally putting on their shoes. And while they're putting on their shoes, I sit on the couch thinking like, okay, cool. I'm going to sit on the couch for 1 minute. They're literally putting their shoes on. That takes no more than 1 minute. And then I'm going to walk out the door. I sit down for 1 second after having been on my feet for hours. And she goes, okay, Noelle, you don't need to sit down. Let's keep it moving. You can find something to do while they're putting on their shoes. She wanted me to be doing stuff for her at all times. And you know, the craziest task she ever had me do, I'm telling the story.
I love this story.
Bro, she had me doing all of these crazy tasks. Like, oh my God. But the one that was so insane was one of her daughters, like had just a photo of her daughter that was this huge poster of like an Andy Warhol style, like pop art photo of their kid. So it's like their kid, but it looks like it had been photoshopped in a lot of ways, whatever. And she wanted one for the other kid. So she's like, Noelle, I have a new task for you. So whenever you have downtime, if you find that you're done cleaning the kitchen and whatnot, like, I want you to start doing this. And I was like, what is it? She was like, I want you to make pop art for my other daughter using Adobe Photoshop. I said, okay, I will warn you, I've never used Adobe Photoshop a day in my life, nor am I a visual artist. The husband said, yeah, but you're like a singer and an actor. You're an artist. I'm sure like you can do that too.
Oh my God, it is not the same thing.
Not the same thing. And they were like, just Google it and figure it out.
Oh my God,
and I was
that's
like,
so fucking annoying.
Okay, I'll do what y'all want me to do. And of course, she is the most impatient, high maintenance, like uptight person on the face of the planet. So I would like Google search how to make pop art. And then I would make it and it would look awful and ugly because I'm not a fucking visual artist. And I'd show it to her and be like, this is what I have now. And then she'd get really frustrated with me. She'd be like, no, like, I don't like this color here. Like, change it to this way. But because like I didn't know how to use it, I had to completely start over every time. Like I couldn't change like little things. So it took me... I never finished it. The next nanny actually finished it, funny enough. That's
so
not
weird.
the job of an... So weird.
So weird.
I'm like, do they not realize how fucking weird that is? They were having...
I guess not.
I would be like, I told y'all, like, I'm not... I started being really sassy towards the end of that job. I worked for them for like 2 years. Oh my God. But the first year was very like... more sporadic, not as much. I knew she was high maintenance and an uptight mom, but oh my God. Once I started like being there every day, it was like insane. She would also like yell at the kids like really meanly sometimes.
She has issues.
She has like, I've never met anyone like her. Other nannies at the school would be like, do you work for her? And I'd be like, yeah. And they're like, please don't let her walk all over you. Like, because a lot of the other nannies would nanny for kids who were friends with the kids I was nannying. So, and the mom I was nannying for was a helicopter mom to other nannies too. She'd be like, if her kids were having a play date with other kids, she'd be texting the nanny the whole time. Like, make sure they eat this dinner. Make sure they do this. Make sure they drink a glass of milk. Okay. They're not your nanny that you're paying for. Oh my God. So just imagine what it was like for me. And one time, she would always get mad at me. I would cry in their home bathroom during that job. Why are you making a nanny cry? Also, like, their kids loved me so much. And I loved them so much so that I would have quit so much earlier if it wasn't for the kids. But I just didn't want to leave them in the middle of the school year. Even though I wasn't even really a nanny. Like, I would take them to some of their after-school activities and pick them up from school. But, like, as soon as we'd get home, like, they'd do their homework. And then I'd be off. I would carry, like, $200 worth of groceries for them like every single day. I was grocery shopping, putting it on my own credit card for the first year. And then they'd reimburse me at the end of the week, which I didn't have. Like, why?
Yeah, that is crazy.
Like, I was using my credit card so much for them. It wasn't like I was just buying like an ice cream for the girls. And then at the end of the week being like, hey, give me this. They would owe me like sometimes over $400 for reimbursements at the end of the week. Like, I'm paying out of pocket to buy you groceries. And they lived in this huge ass, they lived in 4 apartments with the walls knocked out, pushed together, like owned them all, 3 dishwashers. Like, come on. You are not going to make me, poor little girl in her 20s, starving artist, pay out of pocket. Eventually, they got me a card that was linked to their account so I could grocery shop using that. But oh my God, they were just insane.
So bad.
She screamed at me once because I bought the wrong napkins. She was hosting a party and she was like, can you go buy? Oh my God. Well, first of all, I had to run in and out because she wouldn't give me a list. She would remember something. She'd be like, oh, go get soda water. And I'd be like, okay. And then I'd go get soda water and I'd come back and she'd be like, oh, go get napkins. And I'd be like,
that's so exhausting.
Okay. It was so exhausting. Nannying is not supposed to be exhausting.
No, they were taking advantage of you.
Oh my God.
So to the extreme.
Like, my parents were telling me to quit. My therapist was telling me to quit. My psychiatrist was telling me to quit. You were telling me to quit. I was having nightmares about her. I actually had a dream about her the other night and I was like, oh my God. She is like the meanest person I've ever met in my life. But I got napkins. She didn't specify what kind of napkins she wanted. I just like went to Whole Foods. I got napkins. I don't fucking know. Sorry, I'm not as fancy as you. I don't live in a $12 million apartment. Like, I got napkins and she sees them and she goes, these napkins are crap. And is just screaming at me. I'm like, I'm sorry. I bought the wrong napkins. Oh my God. Jeez Louise. Worst job ever. That was terrible for my mental health. And I didn't even realize until I quit. Like, it was just, oh my God, it was awful. Awful. They got mad at me because they had me being their travel agent at one point too, because they were going on a trip in the Bahamas. And they were like, Noelle, new task they always had a random task for me. They were like, okay, next you're going to book our golf cart in the Bahamas. And I was like, okay, cool. So I'm using my phone. I call a golf cart company on the island they're going to be on in the Bahamas. Small island. Like, there's not a lot of golf cart companies. I call and I book their golf cart. Yay. I tell her, I say, hey, I booked the golf cart. She goes, did you call every single golf cart company on the island and compare prices? No.
Compare prices, really?
Also, they're all on the same small island. Do you think they're going to be that different?
Right.
And then she was like, I know you probably think we're so rich and privileged, but like, we're trying to save money. And like, oh my God, just all this. They were so like, it was so interesting.
It's funny.
Stingy in certain ways.
Behavior is like, she was so particular about everything, but then it's like, why aren't you doing any of it then?
And
like,
getting
it's that
mad
thing
at
of
me.
like, if you want something done or a certain way, and you're not going to specify to that person how you want it done, then do it yourself, or tell the person how you want it done, and don't get mad if it's not up to your standards. Especially if you don't specify what you want. Like,
and then after
so
that,
frustrating.
she had to reimburse me for making international calls because I was calling all of these golf cart companies. God. Yeah, we got charged for it. And I was like, oh my God. And I was scared to ask her for the reimbursement because I thought she was going to get mad at me. And she was annoyed. But why is that my problem? Yeah. You're making me call.
Then don't make me do it. Like, what? Yeah. That's so crazy.
So anyways, then I'm like, okay. And I call all of these other companies. Also, that was like that was during my eye patch era. And she was so mean to me.
It was?
Yes.
Wow.
She was so evil to me during my eye patch era.
Feels like even like longer ago.
I know.
Than that, but I guess not.
I was like, girl, I am going through it in life already. Like, just let me live. And I don't think she realized how good of a nanny I am. Mm-hmm. Like, when I moved to my next family I nannied for, I quit them and moved to a different family. My world changed. I was treated with so much respect, paid to be on call, essentially, because she was like, hey, I'm going to pay you this amount every week. So just make sure you have like 3 to 7 every day on your schedule. And then sometimes half of the time I would leave early. Mm-hmm. I just like drop the kid off at home and she'd be like, you can go.
Which is standard for a nanny job because it's like, sometimes the kids' schedules are different day to day and week to week, but nannies need to be paid. They need to have consistency too, because like it's not our fault when the kids don't have school on a random day, or if for some reason you don't need me, but like that's a day I would usually work. Like a weekly minimum or like a block of hours is typically pretty or like a day rate, something like that. It's standard.
And they would only pay me mean family when I would work. And I remember one time she texted me sometimes she would do this shit. She texted me at like 11 p.m. and was like, by the way, I don't need you tomorrow because it's my birthday.
And then she wouldn't pay you?
I didn't get paid for it.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like, well, I wish you would have told me this in advance because then I could have
picked up another babysitting job. Which you shouldn't have to do, but like.
Which I shouldn't have to do because I'm already working full time pretty much for you.
So it's like she wouldn't pay you for when she wouldn't need you, but then she would also not let you know in advance. So you.
Yeah.
Could figure something out. It's like, fuck you. She basically was just like, fuck you. You're like, I don't give a fuck about your life or your livelihood.
Not at all. Oh my God. I don't think they gave a singular fuck about me at all as a human. And her kids loved me so much. And I love them so much too. And that's the only reason why I ended on a cordial note with her. I mean, maybe it won't be cordial if she finds the podcast. Sorry. But I was like, these kids love me. They honestly need a nice figure in their life.
Yeah, it's so sad for the kids.
She's not nice. She would yell at the kids. She'd be like, I remember one time the mom was so stressed out and overstimulated, and like the daughter went up to like and was like, Mom, like, and like went to hug her or something, and she was like, don't touch me. Like, and I was like, can you not talk to your 10-year-old child? Like if she was just so like, oh my God, like awful, terrible person, actually terrible. She was so mean. Anytime she'd call any kind of, whatever company with customer service, she would be so mean. She'd be screaming to people on the phone all the time. One time I remember she was like, I'm the one calling with the issue. You listen to me.
Yikes.
Just like insane.
Karen to the max.
And her name rhymes with Karen. Karen to the max. And I remember their next nanny, I would talk to her because I'm actually friends with her. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm quitting. You can work for them if you want. But warning, she's terrible. And the girl was like, I know. Like, because she had babysat for them occasionally, or times when I would be out, they would have her. And she was like, I know, but like, it's fine. And then when she started doing it full time, I remember she texted me after like 1 week of working for them and was like, oh my God, holy shit. I knew she was bad. I didn't know how bad she was until I started spending this much time with them. Like, I need to get out of here. And I was like, no, yeah, it's like, she's literally abusive.
Yeah.
Like awful. To the point where like it was infiltrating my dreams. Oh my God.
When, you know, if it's giving you stress dreams, then like that are reasonable. I mean, because stress dreams can happen, you know, that are like irrational and out of nowhere. But when it's because you're stressed in your real life,
she needs help. But love her kids to death. Love them to death. But yeah, it's funny looking back on some of those things because it's like, damn, I was being screamed at for buying the wrong napkins. Like
pop art thing is like one of my favorite stories. I think that, I mean, obviously in the moment that's so annoying and frustrating, but like that is so funny. I'm sorry.
I would tell people that and they'd be like, wait, what? I'd be like, yeah, I have to fucking make this a thing on Adobe Photoshop. And they'd be like, aren't you a nanny? Yeah, I am.
One of my pet peeves too about jobs or things like that is like busy work or
oh my God,
doing things to look like I'm doing things or whatever when things don't really need to be done by me. Like I actually hate that stuff.
Also, like I get it if it's a corporate job. I don't know, certain jobs I'm like, whatever. I think busy work is stupid. I agree. But especially as a nanny, don't you want me to enjoy working for you because I'm being an influence on your kids? Like, I'm spending time with your kids in your household. Like, don't you want to make me feel, like, happy to be there? Don't you want me to not be miserable? Don't you want me to, like, don't you want to treat me well so I do a good job of handling your kids? Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean,
like,
she didn't have the capacity to think that far.
No,
she was just
didn't.
so wrapped up in her own head and her own feelings. And
because she was terrible, I had to leave, unfortunately. And I miss those girls. I babysat them since then a couple of times sporadically. I just can't work for them full time ever again. Yeah. And she would just text me all throughout. Like, she'd be like, take them to this class. And I'd be like, okay. And then we'd literally go out the door to leave. And then I'd get a paragraph of her like, make sure they drink their water before they go in and bring their ballet shoes here. And then you can go. I was especially like when I would drop them off at classes, she was always having me doing something during that class too. Like, I wouldn't just be sitting there waiting for class to be over. She'd be like, during that time, I want you to go to Whole Foods, pick up this, and that while they're in ballet, or like bring my laptop and work on Andy Warhol while they're in class. Like, I was like, oh my God, I was working my ass off for this lady. Evil. Anyways, that was one of my survival jobs. That was the worst one I had. For sure. Which is so shitty because it could have been awesome. I was in this lovely, beautiful home with these two amazing kids. How are they? Is that amazing with a mom like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I might need to cut that part out. But they incredible kids. Like, it could have been an awesome, awesome job. And it wasn't because their mom was actively ruining my life at the time. Literally, I think my hair started turning gray during that time. Oh my God. Like, just, oh my God, it was awful.
So much stress.
So that was definitely my worst survival job, just from how I was being treated. I had other ones that I hated, but not from how I was being treated. Like when I catered. I did catering for a while. I just had to wear a skinny black tie and like an ugly outfit. And it wasn't fun. Not as bad. What are some of your other survival jobs?
Yes. So I was looking for teaching jobs because that's actually what I did before I moved.
I forgot that you taught.
Yeah. I taught honestly, I didn't teach for that long. I taught private voice and piano lessons back in Michigan. So it was something that I was good at, I had experience with, and there's definitely a market for that here. So, and I ended up getting one that was, part-time, and it was for a music school that I had to like go to the people's houses for it, which like it was appealing in the moment because I was like, that's cool. Like I'll be able to get out. Like I don't like doing virtual lessons. I won't be cooped up in like one studio all day. Mm-hmm. But after a while I was like, this is not efficient because I would be paid. So let's say I was booked with 4 students a day. I would I was not paid for like my travel time. I was only paid for the lesson time. And then
you're traveling so much.
But I was traveling for so much of it. So like if I worked from 2 to like 8, I would only be paid for the times I was teaching in that period. So not even like all of those hours, And then I also was like using my own money for transportation. Like the company didn't reimburse me for the transit that it would take me. And then a lot of time, like I was teaching like students in Brooklyn, and kind of getting throughout Brooklyn can be a little tricky. Mm-hmm. Like I would have to take buses a lot to get to like weird places, not weird places, but just like a place where there's no train to go directly from this place to this place. So I was like taking buses to get to like random places. But the bus schedule is like, I love the bus, but I will never take the bus if I have to like be somewhere at a specific time.
Unreliable.
Because it's just unreliable. Like it's always delayed. So there were times when I had to I Ubered sometimes from place to place just because I was like, if I don't Uber right now, I'm going to miss this entire lesson. And then I'm not like...
And that's so not your fault.
No, it's so not my fault.
They're the ones who booked your schedule.
Was just so bad. And I do love teaching. That was what, teaching, it's very rewarding, and it just wasn't a good system for me. So I only did that for a few months before I quit, because also there were so many times when I would show up and they'd be like, oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you, like, she's sick. She can't have her lesson. And then I don't get paid for it. And I went all the way there.
One family in particular was always not telling you.
Oh my God, yes. There were times I'd show up and they wouldn't be there. And I would be texting them like, hey, I'm here for our lesson, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh my God, we forgot. Like, we're down the street. Just give us some, like, stuff like that. And then I literally got ghosted by one of the students' parents. Like, one time they just didn't show up. And then I would text my boss and I'd be like, hey, like, I showed up. They didn't tell me. And she's like... And I feel bad because it is like a small business, and she's like, I can't pay you for that time, like, but I can like give you half of it, because ultimately like she's getting her money from the students' parents, and if they're not paying for the lesson because they can't have it, then she can't pay me. But like that is so not fair to me.
It's so not fair.
So it was just also another like unstable, super didn't know how much money I was making each week. Plus it just like wasn't enough. Because of all the travel time, it was hard for me to get enough hours, even though the hourly rate was really good. Because of the travel time, that takes up like hours that I could be teaching, but like I just couldn't get enough hours per day. And I do miss teaching sometimes. Like I do think I was a good teacher. So while I was teaching, that's when I found one of my current jobs that I'm in, and I started training for that. And then I quit teaching. And then the job that I'm in now was part-time, so I needed another part-time gig to align with that. And I started my other job I'm in now, which is my nanny job. So
Yay.
I've been with those things ever since, and it's been like 2.5 years of that. So it's been very great.
And they rock.
They do rock. I'm so out of breath, and I don't know why. I want to tell the poop story. Okay, so during all of this, I was also babysitting, doing random things like that with the same company that Noelle was talking about before, which is really funny. Like, it's on-demand stuff. So they literally send an email blast and they're like, hey, sitter needed tomorrow here from this time to this time for this many kids and this old. And like whoever responds to it fast or the fastest gets it. So every now and then if I had like a free day, which thank God now I'm making enough money to where I don't need to pick up extra shit like that.
I hated
But,
doing
like,
those.
I know. At a time when I was like, transitioning between jobs a lot or just like, was in lower paying situations, I needed those like extra things. So even on like when I had a day off, I'd be like, okay, if a babysitting thing comes through, I should probably pick it up, even though it paid like shit, you know? So, but it was better than nothing. So I did a lot of that. And it's kind of cool to see all of these different families, all these different kids in these like nice apartments in New York. And it gave me a lot of stories and experience. And, you know, some things were fun, but I did have this one horror story, you guys. Horror story.
And I gave her this job.
Yeah, this wasn't even through the agency.
It was through the...
Oh my God, it was... Well, we don't need to say maybe for
No.
the sake of the kid.
Yeah.
But let's just say this was someone Noelle had babysat for in the future. Oh my God, my brain is not working.
It was someone I had babysat for in the past, and he's just this kid who's on his iPad the whole time.
He was on his, it's like a screen kid.
iPad kid to the max. And
the
so
iPad and the TV were on in front of him.
And he
Which I don't judge parents for however they decide to do that. I grew up with a lot of, like, I played a lot of games and I watched a lot of things and whatever. I think that's totally fine. In New York, parents are so particular about how they go about screen time. I think some withhold it too much.
Yeah.
And then when you do put an iPad in front of their face, they become like not a human. And they just like, you will talk to them and they're not there because they're like
on the iPad,
withheld from it. So when they do have it, they're like, iPad. Or maybe they are just on it too much and whatever. It's hard in New York because there's not a lot of places to play outside and like you can get cooped up easily. So it's important to find a balance. But
I think this kid had way too much screen time.
he probably had too much.
He was like,
it's not good for their little developing brains.
But selfishly, it's good when you're a babysitter sometimes because if the parents don't care, like they literally, anytime I babysat for them, they would be like, he can literally just be on the iPad and watch TV as much as he wants. And so I'd be like, hey, like, what's your favorite color? No response. Like, because he was so into his screen. So then I was just like, okay, honestly, time for me to chill then. So I just sit and be on my phone and like eat their snacks and, you know, do my thing. Like it was an easy job when I did it.
Yeah.
So there was one time I couldn't babysit them. And I think I asked you, I was like, Pete, you should do it. And I was like, it's so easy. They pay so well. And the kid's literally on his iPad the whole time. You're not going to have to do anything. Okay. And that's not
so I was like,
her experience.
I've like heard about this kid. Like I know when you've babysat for them before. So I show up. All is well to begin with. The parents are very nice. And they were like, you can order dinner. Here's the local spots and some menus. Like they were going to pay for it, which was like very sweet.
They also Uber home after.
They Uber home, which is a thing.
Should.
Yeah, if you're coming home late, like obviously. Okay, so she's showing me around the house. She's telling me about the routine, you know, the basic things. And then she like makes this comment and she's like, oh, and also he's been like having problems pooping. So, you know, just be aware of that, but like I think he should be fine.
Also, he's 5 years old at the time.
He's 5 years old.
Not like a baby. He was 5.
She's like, he's been good the past few days, but like if he needs to go to the bathroom, he might just need like a little help or whatever. Okay, so I don't think much of it. And they leave and I'm sitting there with the kid for a while and things are fine at first. And I'm like, what am I going to get for dinner? Like, well, I'm order my food. And then I start to smell a smell of poop.
She starts to smell a smell of
and
poop.
I was like, oh my God, you're kidding me. This kid just shit his pants. This is what they were talking about. Like, what is this poop issue that he's having? And I'm like, what am I going to do?
They knew what was going to happen.
So yeah, in hindsight, they knew that this was an issue and they just threw it on me because let me just wait. So I'm like, the whole apartment's starting to smell like poop. Like it was a very strong smell. And I look at him and I go, hey, do you need to go to the bathroom? I was like, did we maybe like go to the bathroom in our pants? Like, and he just looked at me and he shook his head He didn't even say anything.
Of course.
And I
this
was like,
kid is like doesn't speak.
and I was like, I think you did. Like, come on, let's go to the bathroom. Poor kid. I'm sorry. But like,
No,
disgusting.
but that's a nightmare for you.
Yes. So he also like wasn't wearing a diaper where like I get that he's 5, but he's having these issues and is not pooping in the toilet. Then why is he not wearing like why it was in his underwear, you know? And I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. Like I also feel like I don't know this kid. Like I don't want to be like like what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, because you don't want to like I don't know, consent.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it's
like,
such a big thing. I know
he doesn't know me. Like it makes me feel bad. So I help him. I like put his underwear in like a poop I put his underwear in a plastic bag and I like tie it up and I like try to rid of it as much as I can. And I like help him get cleaned up and change his pants and whatever. Like 15 minutes later, the same thing happens. You guys, it happened again. And it started smelling so bad in the apartment. And I was like, hey, I think we need to go to the bathroom again. Same thing happens, okay? Then it happens for a third time. And at this point, the entire apartment smells like poop. It smells like poop so much to the point where when the parents walked in, they were like, whoa, what happened in here? And I tried to get him to go to the bathroom on the toilet. And I don't know how there was so much poop in this little 5-year-old's
Was it
body.
diarrhea or was it poop?
It was like solid poops. And... But I mean, solid, but maybe not like fully solid, but it wasn't diarrhea. Like, but
soft poops.
It happened 3 times. And the third time he started pooping onto the floor while I was getting him cleaned up. And I was like, no, go to the toilet. And he's like, no. And he just poops onto the floor. So I have to clean that up. Then I have to clean him up, dispose of the 3rd pair of underwear.
Dude. Why would he not stop shitting his pants?
Now there were 3 poopy underwears inside of plastic bags just sitting because I don't know. I can't leave the kid to go like outside to throw him away. I don't know what to fucking do. So at this point, I'm just like so pissed. I feel disgusting. I'm like trying to be as clean about everything as possible. And the parents come home and I did not bother them. I don't think I ever like texted them, let them know what was happening because I feel bad for parents sometimes. Like I want them to have their time out, whatever. And after the 3rd time, I was like, if this happens again, like, I don't know, because how does he have so much poop in his body?
Like shitting your pants 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Is like,
there was something wrong and the parents knew for sure.
That's also like how is it solid poop and not diarrhea if you're pooping your pants 3 times?
Like solid. So the parents come home and as soon as they walk in the door, the mom is like, oh my God, what happened? Like what is, and I explained the whole story and she felt so bad.
Yeah.
She was so apologetic. She was like laughing, but like also like mortified and she like ended up paying me so much extra and like paying for my Uber home and paying for my dinner. And like, I guess they handled it the best they could, but I'm like, come on, you knew that was going to happen.
I know. Cause she said she was being weird and cryptic. She was like, something might like he might poop. Like, I don't know.
She was like something like he's been having trouble going poop on the toilet. So like if he says he needs to
been shitting his pants.
Yeah, so that's what she meant by that is he's having trouble going poop on the toilet, so he's gonna shit his pants. Not like I thought maybe like he would just need me to guide him through that.
Like be like, okay, let's go to the toilet now.
Yes, and that is not what happened. And he kind of I think he might have been scared of the toilet because that 3rd time when I was, helping him and he started pooping on the floor. I was like, wait, don't poop on the floor. I was like, the toilet's... We were standing in front of the toilet. I was like, the toilet's right there. Just sit on the toilet. And he didn't want to. Like, when I said that, he, like, started crying. So,
why? Is he...
I don't know. But, like, as a babysitter who does not know your kid, it's my first time babysitting for you. Like, you knew this was going to happen. It put me in such a weird position because I also felt bad for this poor kid. Like, obviously, something's going on, either whether it's, like, a mental thing or, like, something with his body. I don't know. But, like...
a bad
and then
situation
there's
for
this
everyone.
stranger in his home, like watching him. I like can't really like make him feel comfortable because he's so glued to his iPad. Like he didn't want to talk to me, whatever. So it was just a nightmare, you guys. The whole apartment did smell like poop the whole fucking night. It was disgusting. I came home and I showered, like head to toe, scrubbed my body because I just felt like I was sitting in poop air for.
Ew!
5 hours.
Air. That's so nasty.
Yeah, it was just seriously like a horror film. Yeah, it was horrible.
I hate that. Wow, and that was supposed to be an easy job for you that I gave you.
It's just so funny, like the extremes of you were like, it's such a easy job and blah blah blah, and then
he shits his pants all night
and
all over the apartment.
It was like the worst babysitting experience I've ever had.
Damn, sorry about that.
And then she's asked me to come back a couple times, and she was like, he's better on the toilet now. Like it wouldn't happen again. And I actually like couldn't even do it that night, but I don't think I would.
She texted me too. She was like, I felt so bad for your friend, blah blah blah. I was like, it's okay.
Yeah, you should. And she knew that was going to happen. So
yeah, she knew.
Clearly, it's been happening.
I feel like that's like. What were they doing that night? Were they like just going out? Like,
I think they went to dinner and maybe a show. I think they went to a show.
I'm like, should you not go to dinner and a show if your kid is shitting his
like
pants?
having like problems
A lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. But also I get you got to live your life, but like I don't know. At least they paid you more.
Yeah, I mean, they handled things the best they could and paid me way extra and paid for my Uber home and but yeah.
I had a babysitting experience where a baby fell on its head and like it was not just like a normal fall. Like that baby might have been concussed.
Oh my God.
I don't know because the parents told me to leave and then I never talked to them again. I emailed them a really nice apology and they didn't respond. Honestly, valid.
Yeah.
Both of the parents were home, which is another big thing in New York City. I feel like so many babysitting gigs I take, the parents are there.
Yeah, which I hate because
it's awkward.
It's awkward. I don't know this kid. I don't like you're watching me take care of your kid and that just makes me feel weird.
I get it. Okay. To an extent, I get it. Like, for example, if a parent's working from home and they have to focus on work and they can't have, if you have like a 2-year-old, you can't like focus on work and also have a 2-year-old.
But the thing when the parent is home, if the kid is like young enough, they will just like want their parent. So the parent goes into their office. The parent goes into their office and like shuts the door. But then the kid's like, no. And they go and like they're like knocking on the door. And I'm like, come on, let's go play. Like, and then like the parent is disrupted. And then I feel like I'm not doing my job.
Exactly.
And
I feel like I'm not doing anything.
Like, I can't. And you don't know the kids, so I don't want to like pick them up and like be too aggressive with them because it's just weird when you don't know the family and things like that happen.
Ugh, but yeah, I was babysitting this brother. It was like this one kid and then his brother who was a baby, like a literal baby. And the mom and dad were both home, which is like both parents being home. I'm kind of like, why did you need me? But we were sitting on the couch at one point. I'm not even kidding. I turned my head for like 1 second and the baby falls off the couch. Oh my God. Terrible experience.
Oh, that's so scary.
Onto its head. And immediately the baby is like scream crying. Its head is bleeding. There's a giant like goose egg on its head. And I was like, oh my God. And then the dad came out and I was like holding the baby and he was like, what happened? And I was like, he fell. Like, I don't know. And then he took the baby and was like, it's okay. I'm sure it's fine, whatever. But then I think he saw the baby's head was bleeding and it wouldn't stop screaming, crying. And then so he took the baby back to the mom, whatever. And then the mom comes out and she's like, yeah, like you can go home. And I was like, are you sure? Like, is there anything I can do to help you? And she's like, no, like you can just go home. And I left and I was like, oh my God. And I didn't get paid for it, but I didn't need to or want to. Like I emailed them. I was like, I am so sorry about that. Like, oh my God, nightmare experience. And I didn't get in trouble with the babysitting company at least.
Well, that babysitting company is like, it's so stupid. But like,
oh my God.
I'm glad you didn't get in trouble. I mean, accidents happen and stuff, but that is like a nightmare. This is actually why I don't ever, or I guess when I did babysit, like I don't really like to do children under 2 years old because taking care of babies is a whole different kind of thing.
It is.
And like, I would be so afraid that I would like drop someone else's baby. Oh my God.
I love babies so much. I get baby fever.
But that is terrifying.
Yeah, it was terrifying though. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Yep.
And I'm surprised that the parents acted so calm calmly about it.
I think they like took the baby to the doctor right after. Like, I don't know, but that also sucks because I probably traumatized them. I feel bad because they might have been scared after that to get babysitters in the future. Like, and leave their kids by themselves.
It is always kind of surprising how these families will trust this stranger they've never met to take care of their children. Like, I do find that kind of interesting.
Yeah, I guess that's why
to begin with,
so many people go through the company.
Yeah, I guess because you have to get like hired, you have to interview for this company and whatnot. But still, it's like, I don't know. Yeah. You still don't know the person.
Ugh, nightmare. But now I've had some really good babysitting gigs from it. And normally now when I babysit for families, I'm like, hey, by the way, if you ever need a babysitter, feel free to just text me and not go through the company.
Mm-hmm. Because the company, they pay the company so much and then we're paid crumbs.
They do not. When I found out, one of the moms actually told me once, she was like, how much do they pay you? And I was like, this much. And she was like, they're really not paying you enough. And I was like, noted. Good to know. I didn't know that. They're taking like so much money and we're the ones actually with the kids. Mm-hmm. The fuck? Anyways, yeah, babysitting is another crazy survival job. Some babysitting gigs are awesome and some aren't.
Yeah.
It really just depends.
It's always hit or miss. So that's that on that.
That's that on that. I guess I can talk about this one job I had for a single month at City Winery. It was so random. So this was while I was getting my tour guiding license. So current job status, I'm a tour guide for food tours, which is awesome. But to be a tour guide in New York City, you do have to have your tour guiding license. And to get that, you have to take a test and pass it. And it's just all of these questions about the history of New York City. Yeah, so I had to study and just memorize 300 random facts about New York City and pass the test and get my tour guiding license. But while I was in the process of studying to get my license, I needed another job. So I literally worked at a winery for 1 month in Grand Central Station. And I was paid minimum wage. I was a hostess. I was fired the same day that I was going to quit. I was literally, I'm not kidding.
You were fired? I don't remember. Like I was
let go of
until now.
I was drafting an email, literally being like, hey, I'm so sorry. I can't work here anymore. And while I was drafting it, an email comes into my inbox from the winery being like, hey, actually, we don't need you anymore.
That's so funny.
And honestly, I was a bad employee. Well, if I'm getting paid minimum wage, one, they did not need me. There were barely any customers ever. Like the waiters did not need me. At all. I barely did anything. And so I'd just be standing there on my phone. Listen, if I'm getting minimum wage and I'm not really needed, I'm not going to do busy work for you guys. I'm not going to take time out of my life to clean extra and be an extra good employee. No, I was standing there memorizing my facts for my tour guiding test. Like that's what I was doing most of the time, or memorizing lines or for auditions or something. So one, there was that. And then two, I was auditioning for things as well at this time. And I literally would show up like an hour late to work sometimes. And I'd literally text my manager and be like, hey, sorry, I'm going to be an hour and a half late today. I have an audition. But like, I'm sorry. I'm not prioritizing my minimum wage job over an audition.
That you didn't want to keep long term.
I knew I was going to quit like after a month. So that was so funny. And I had the most random coworkers. Oh my God, creepy ones. Do you remember that one guy? Shane is his name.
Oh my God.
He wrote this scary Screamo song and showed it to me. And he was just really creepy to all of the women at work. And
wasn't there like a story about this? Like, didn't he do something?
He did something. What did he do? I don't even remember. Oh, he asked me to go on a date to Shin Yun with him. Shin Yun. You know
Yes.
He asked me to go see that. And I was like, sure. It never happened. But then he sent me his...
He would always hit on you, right? Kind of say inappropriate things.
Oh my God, yes. He said something really inappropriate once.
And you had to tell someone about it. Like your manager or something.
He said something really gross to me once. What was it? Oh, he was like, oh, I needed a stool to sit on. I was like, oh, like I need a place to sit. And he was like, he said something about like how I could sit on his face or something like that. He was like, I can give you a spot to sit on my face. Something weird. And I was like,
it's crazy. In the middle of a fucking shift.
I remember I just like, I laughed. I was like, haha, oh, Shane, such a funny thing for you to say. And he would always just say weird things. Like he would come up to me and be like, oh, I just want a pretty girl in my life. And I'd be like, you'll find one, Shane. And he'd be like, see, when I'm over here making my coffees, he was a barista. He was like, when I'm over here making my coffee, I want a pretty girl to come sit at the counter and just smile at me. It's like, okay. Yeah. Another one of my coworkers really wanted a trad wife, which if you don't know what a trad wife is, it's literally just a traditional wife that cooks and cleans.
It's weird to want a trad wife.
He really wanted one. Like
and
bad.
Say that.
But he would say things too. One, he really wanted a trad wife. He's like, I want my wife to cook and clean and like I'm the king and all this stuff. And he's like, and also I want to be able to have sex with whoever I want and she's only allowed to have sex with me. He would literally say that. He's like, men have needs and I need to get those needs met, but she better not be fucking around. And I was like, okay. And then he asked me out and I was like, I do not think we are compatible in the slightest. And he sent me the link to his SoundCloud and this was like the day I met him. He texted me and he was like, hey, like, I think you're really beautiful, by the way, if you ever want to go out. And I was like, we're not compatible. And then he sent me a link to his SoundCloud and it was this song. It was R&B. And of course, the first lyrics are like, face down, ass up, girl. And I was like, what is my fucking life at the City Winery right now? And then Shane, that other guy, sends me one of his songs and it's Screamo.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, like, this place is weird. This place is so weird.
That was a really weird era for you.
It was. I hooked up with another one of my coworkers, though. Remember him?
Yes.
He was hot. So that was fine. But yeah, everyone else, that was weird.
Some characters.
There were insane characters there. Plus, people were like drinking throughout the shift all the time, which like I did once too. Hey, the bartenders were like, here's a to-go cup filled with wine and you can refill it as much as you want. And there was just one shift where it was like a Friday night. I was about to go out and meet probably you and others after. So I was like, I'll pregame at work. Yeah. So just like silly times. But yeah, I was fired, but I was going to quit too. So it's okay.
You were drafting your email and then got fired.
Literally drafting my email. I was a terrible employee. But then right after that, I took my tour guiding test, passed, and then quickly got a job.
The rest is history.
And the rest is history. Now I'm still a tour guide and it's amazing.
Yeah.
So what are our current job situations?
Yeah, currently, I mean, we've touched on this before, but I'm a nanny and I just love. I'm going on my third year with them. I start back up in 2 days
so
for
exciting.
The third school year.
Wow,
and
that's crazy.
The fact that I like get to look forward to that, I'm so grateful because it's so hard to find jobs here.
Yes.
In the city or just like anywhere when you're an artist, like that bring you joy and fulfillment, but aren't your, end all be all. Mm-hmm. And I feel very lucky. I love the kids. It brings me joy every single day. I pick them up from school. I'm hanging out with them in Central Park and doing this and that. And the parents are great and trust me and aren't helicoptery and are very respectful of my time. And it's just like perfect situation. And I also work in the jewelry world is my other job, which jewelry is another like passion of mine, interest, something I love. And I get to meet people who come into the store from like all around the world. And I actually I get to build custom pieces for people. And it feels cool, like a skill that I have that I get to exercise and also like just like talk to people. And I like my coworkers there. And it's just, I feel very happy and satisfied with my situation. And I know it can't last forever. So I'm just trying to enjoy this era.
Yeah.
And
it's a good era.
It is a good era.
Yeah. I was saying I had the two jobs I have right now, I enjoy. Again, like not what I want to be my end all be all, but I feel lucky to enjoy them now. My life was perfect earlier this year, job situation wise, because the 3 jobs I had were tour guiding, which I'm still doing, personally assisting someone, which I'm still doing. And also I was nannying an amazing family with a girl that I was besties with, but then they moved out of the city, which is why that one stopped. And I could get another nannying job. I might need to, because I don't think I'm making enough money at the moment with just tour guiding and personally assisting. But they're both, personally assisting and tour guiding are both insanely flexible. I'm literally personally assisting one of my best friends. You all probably know and love her on TikTok. Shout out to my influencer girl bestie, who I'm not going to say her name right now, but we'll interview her another time. She's also like one of my best friends now. So that's fun. I get paid to hang out with her and be her like self-tape reader and stuff. And it's amazing. And tour guiding is awesome too. And I'm really, though, in a place where I'm like, I don't want to interview to get another job. Like, I've already nannied for like 4 years. I was just with a family I loved so much. Like, I'm not in the mood to start over with a new family. I'm turning 28 this year.
Yeah.
Which is still so young.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I really just, I want to make money through acting.
Yeah.
Like, and obviously that's like out of my control for when that does happen. But I'm like, I just want to see how long I can do just tour guiding and personally assisting, and then putting all of my extra free time into auditioning, producing, doing all of my artist things. And if I need to get another job, I will at the end of September. But I have a show coming up in September, and I just need to focus on it, at least for this month, before I think about a third job. But yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying my 2 jobs right now. I don't want to have to add a third one into the mix.
Yeah, I feel like you just know too, like when things energetically aren't aligning with you anymore. Like, yeah, when you think about it, do you kind of like, ooh, like, do you expand or contract? Do you know what I mean?
Do you mean like thinking about getting another nanny
yeah,
job?
like when you think about getting another nanny job, you contract.
Yeah, something about it. Like, I don't know.
I get that. Like, I think, sorry to interrupt, but like,
no, you're fine.
Like thinking about, I'm not going to be with this family probably much longer. I mean, 1, I don't know what's going to happen with my career. And 2, the kids are getting older, and the dad like was upfront with me, like, this might be the last year we need you. Like, I don't know, the kids in New York, they like to let them fly on their own pretty young. So just depending on like their situation, but the thought of starting with another family after like, investing so much time into this one and like having, I don't like the thought of that.
I know, especially
like, when
it's not our career. It's not what we like. It's not our end all be all.
Yeah.
And it's fine. If you are a nanny and that's what you're wanting to do with your life, slay. It's an awesome gig when you have a good family. But I just have other passions, and I don't want to start over a new job that isn't what I'm just over it. I feel like I've been doing these random jobs for like 5 years in New York City now, and I'm just like, okay, like
something like you need to upgrade in some way.
Yeah.
Whether it's just like having more free time or if it's like getting an acting job.
Yeah. Like, hey,
I mean, wouldn't that be
directors
nice?
And producers out there. Hey, I'm really funny, and
we all want to be making money from our art, but like,
yes.
Okay. Let's maybe transition into our take home for the day. Because what I was going to say was, what I think we should take home is artists want to make money doing their art, or even if you're not an artist, we all have our ideal job, career situations and dreams. And sometimes it just takes a second to get there. But like, in the meantime, you don't have to be miserable. You don't have to sacrifice, your passions, and you can still enjoy your day to day. In fact, it's essential. In fact, it's essential to find a situation where you can still enjoy your day to day, or at least not dread it, because then what's the point? Yeah, that would be my take home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I agree with that.
Yeah.
Take home.
Keep going if you haven't found that yet. And if you're miserable in a situation, there is something out there. Like, I know it's scary with like finances and stuff, because being in between jobs is not fun. And just like the uncertainty and unknown of starting something new, not knowing if it's gonna be good or worse than your previous situation. But like, you can always quit. You can always quit, when something's not aligning with you anymore, and listen to that, because that means there's probably something better out there waiting for you. Yeah. There always is something.
I'm over the mindset that so many artists have that like, I feel like it's put upon us, like since we're younger, but that you hate your life until you're like on Broadway or something. Like you're supposed to be miserable until you're a working actor. Like I'm not in the mood to be miserable, actually. Like I'd rather
and also,
not.
I'm a person outside of that. Like I said, like I love working with kids and having like being that kind of having that sort of impact in someone's life. Like I know that I'm making a difference. Like I'm very fulfilled with nannying and also my jewelry passion and my food passion. Like find other things that have nothing to do with your art that you love. See if you can like make a, get a job with that. Like, you do not have to be miserable. You can be a whole human outside of your desired career path.
You can.
Yes.
And that's what we're taking.
And that's what we're taking home.
Okay, now it is time for our advice portion of the podcast where we take questions from you all and answer them and try to help you out. And it'll always be anonymous.
We are not licensed therapists or anything like that. So take it with a grain of salt. Here's our life advice.
I feel like sex first time with someone takes some adjustment because everyone has a different history /likes/dislikes. How much of a sex adjustment period should we give someone before we can determine that the sex is objectively not good? Low-key, I don't know.
But answer.
I mean, I will say, hey, if you're someone who doesn't want to hear about me having sex, turn the podcast off now. Okay. I feel like in the past, I've had experiences where I've had sex with people and like the first time is not that great or it's like fine and it gets better over time. So I definitely think that like at least the first 1, 2, or 3 times, like that's fine. I maybe if you just feel like it's not improving, I don't think the length of time matters, but maybe however many times you have sex matters. Like if you've had sex 5 times now and you're still just like not vibing, like maybe it's just not.
I mean, yeah, I think sexual incompatibility is like something that people sometimes may not think is as serious of a thing or like as important of a thing as it is because that's like a real thing, just not being like compatible sexually. Like, so there is something to be said about that. But communication, I think, is key, and you need to communicate those things, like you were saying, likes, dislikes, and then if they don't change, or if like that person can't give that to you, or vice versa, then that might just be you're not compatible in that way. But if it's just a thing of like, hey, it's a little awkward at first, and like things can definitely be improved upon. But yeah, 100%. Like you said, I don't think it's the length of time. I think it's the communication, and then is something changing?
Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but I think you should be able to tell the difference between incompatibility and just like, for awkwardness, nervousness, there's like there's some things that can definitely be worked on.
Yeah. I think there are like fundamental things that maybe can't change, like libido or sex drive. Like if someone has a higher sex drive than the other, that's like a huge thing. And that can't really be changed. You can't force someone to have sex if they're not in the mood to have sex. And then if vice versa, if someone is in the mood to have sex, like, and that person doesn't match their, needs in that way, like that is incompatibility. Like that's not going to change. That's who that person is fundamentally. If it's like, hey, I like this thing, can we try this? Whatever, that's different. That's something that can be like improved upon.
And however, I'll say if you feel like there's mutual sexual attraction there, mutual chemistry, and you both have talked about your likes and dislikes and you're into the same things, I feel like when those things are there, you should be able to figure it out. Maybe like if it's just a matter of like, I don't know, sometimes people have trauma they have to work through. Sometimes it takes a second to get comfortable with someone. Sometimes you just have to be patient. And if those things are there and you've talked about it, then I think it should work out and will hopefully be worth it if it's someone you're really interested in.
Yeah, every situation is so different too. So it's like hard when we don't have like the details and the nuances of your relationship or, you know, what the relationship you're referring to is, because sex and like sexual things are affected by everything else in your life. It's, you know, it's not separate from your mental health and like your emotional relationship with your partner. So like it just really depends. Like you said, trauma, there's all different things that go into how you show up in your sexuality in a relationship. So it just really depends case by case, person by person. But I think like you should be able to communicate with your partner.
Yes, open communication.
That's the key. And then like it can't just stop there. There has to be like some sort of change or effort, I guess, more so on like both people's part to want to make things work. And then you'll know.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. That's today's episode. Yes. Follow us at Take It Home Pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you're watching on YouTube, hi. But like if you're listening, you can watch us on YouTube as well at Take It Home Pod. Do all the things like subscribe, leave us a comment, give us a review if you liked it. 5 stars.
If you didn't like it and your review is less than 5 stars, you don't have to.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Then don't even worry. Yeah, and that is it. Do all the things. We have a new episode every Thursday. If you have an idea for a topic or something you want us to talk about, DM us. If you want to be featured in our advice segment, DM us.
And we will help you out.
And we will be there. Okay?
I'll be there for you.
Na-na-na-na-na.
It's a beautiful day. Don't let it get away.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye, everyone.